Stellar Blade, a Blood Rain, is going woke. It happened. Corruption is a slow and insidious process. The new head of communications is specializing in DEI initiatives. This is probably one of the worst things that we could have gotten in this situation. Granted, there is a slight chance that everything is not exactly as bad as we currently think, but the situation for Stellar Blade and its future is not looking good.
Back in 2024, when it was announced Shift Up was going public, we were all extremely worried. We have seen a lot of activist investors ruin companies over the years, and companies then bend over backwards to chase global audiences, and that means pushing modern
Global non existing audiences. What a great thing to do for profit.
standards. And while a lot of people have been extremely excited to hear about Stellar Blade Blood Rain, and there has been a little bit of backlash to Eevee's design, now we are finding out that Shift Up has been getting wrecked for high.
Has there been actually backlash? I know a couple of people want to push the backlash against Stevie's design, but I call those people weirdos, honestly. But maybe that's just me.
Hiring a head of communications manager who specialized in DEI, and now he's trying to hide his past. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy this and consider support public defender of Shift Up and Stellar Blade and Blood Rain, I think what they are creating are really cool experiences. I think that their games are very unique, and of course they are trying to target an audience who is not politically correct, which I can appreciate. They do not bend over backwards to chase global standards and try to have their games
As someone who identifies non binary, obviously, this is a little bit hard to hear.
reach a global audience. They've always focused on making content that appeals to their core customer base first and foremost. And when they had went public in 2024, there was a lot of worry because yes, that could be a very good situation for them, but it could also be bad because then you have shareholders who are being brought into the mix and activist investors who are being brought into the mix. We see company mentalities shift very drastically because they need to keep people investing and giving them money. But now we are finding out that they have hired a head of communications manager who specialized in D, E, and I, which is just such a suspicious situation due to the fact that he is now trying to hide it. So, this individual, whose name is Jerome Benzadon, had posted after 13 memorable years at PlayStation. I'm
Oh, Jesus, PlayStation. Oof.
thrilled to announce that I'm joining Shift Up as head of global communications. Can't wait to steer the global campaigns for the gems from Mr. Kim, Shinji Mikami, and their teams. And having somebody now who is working at your company, who worked at PlayStation for so long, especially during, we'll just call them their darkest days, is a little bit suspicious. But
Hey.
hey, you know what? You can't always blame everybody for their past, and some.
So, one of the things, I have not looked a lot into this situation. That's why we're watching a Vera video currently about this, because I have not looked into this guy. But one of the things that I did actually see, maybe I'm tweaking out, who honestly knows, H is a very strong and potent substance. But there, this could be also the guy who just blatantly posted a lot of very spicy pics on Twitter that go hand in hand with my beliefs, which would be a good thing. Because, you know, if you go into communications or whatever, even if we have one of our own embedded into the system, a chud of the chuds, they would still be like majoring in DEI and things like that. Because to battle these insane creatures, we need to also get, degrees in DEI and garbage and nonsense like that. There's no other way.
Sometimes they work at a company and they have the intentions of doing one thing, but then they get put into another role and their initial plans are completely thrown away, whatever. But at the same time, in this initial post, he's talking about global campaigns, which I know that companies want their products to appeal to as many people as possible so they can make as much money as.
Yes, so they say that it's not for men, and particularly white men. That always works very well. Now, granted, has this guy already told us that you should not buy it because you're a man? Which is bad, obviously. No. But, I mean, this is a developing situation, and I'm interested to see how this ends.
Possible, but at the same time, this is usually a major red flag, and it definitely is, because if we take to his LinkedIn, what it says right now is his name and then he/him, which LinkedIn kind of forces you and encourages you to add pronouns, but it says over 20 years of communications expertise in the video game industry. He says that he's worked with Shift Up, Sony, PlayStation, Ubisoft, THQ, so a lot of them.
Oh, wow, imagine having to work with Ubisoft. That's painful.
Expert in crafting and executing international communication strategies across global EMEA and local levels, management skills, hiring, managing, coaching, and developing teams, proficient in both product and corporate communications, committed to delivering data-driven results and tangible achievements, lead responsibilities in internal communications management, including reporting and newsletters. Now, this is what his bio had said initially. Okay, it's a pretty solid one. But when you find out that he actually removed certain things from his bio, yeah, that's when things get really suspicious. Now, I want to say really quickly, there were people that were highlighting this in his bio, and it said ESG, shift up in ESG, but it's not ESG in the way that you are thinking. We are not talking.
But I only care about equity, diversity, and inclusion. That's the ESG that I care about. What are we doing?
About environmental, social governance here. ESG is a school of business in Paris. So I think that that is extremely important.
Oh, that sounds even worse. Oh no, that sounds even worse. He's English. And do you know what's happening to England? Everything they deserve, by the way, Lamau.
Important to point out it's not the same, but what is suspicious is the fact that he removed a major point.
Yeah, the focus on D, E, and I.
Here, and that is in his communications line, because again, it says proficient in both product and corporate communications, focus on D, E, and I. And he only removed this after people started calling it out on social media. Now, you would think for a head of communications manager, somebody whose job it is to communicate, he would, I don't know, communicate with the people.
Yeah, she actually, this is a great point. She's completely right on this one. If this was nothing, he would just communicate what the part is about. If this is something and your first reaction is hiding or ignoring or dodging the question, that's bad. That is bad.
That are questioning him right now, you would think that he would make posts on social media and actually try to explain this and be like, look, after many years, I ended up getting shifted around in different jobs, and this was just sort of like a specialty that I went down. It was becoming extremely normal in Paris. I mean, look at Ubisoft, for example. He could use examples and say, this just became the social norm at companies, and we all had to deal with it, and I just happened to be put in this role, and I wanted to keep my job because it was a good position, or something like that. He could at least try to spin it and at least try to give an explanation to people, but he didn't. And this is why I am so disappointed and why so many people are upset right now, because it feels like we backed this company who said that they, weren't worried about political correctness and they were just trying to make.
At this point, you have to ask, what is actually happening, for example, with the HR department at Shift Up? Because that's typically where all of the worst things start to happen, and from there, usually it's bankruptcy.
Really cool experiences. And of course, when Sony forced them to censor the graffiti on the wall because of journalists, we all ran to their defense. And a lot of people feel very betrayed right now. Like I always say in videos and live streams, in my content, you can never put your full faith into a company. It's like From Software. For example, From Software is currently my favorite development studio in the industry, hands down. They make such amazing and phenomenal games, but the direction they've been going in recently isn't one I agree with. Night Rain, it was a quickly thrown together title that they didn't really put a lot of effort into after release, which was disappointing. But it was a multiplayer centric experience. They're doing the same thing with Duskbloods. You are telling me that you are making an exclusive game for a newer console that your core audience isn't on, and it's multiplayer, and you think that that's going to work? No, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I'm slowly looking into Duskblood. Is it actually a good game? Don't know if I'm gonna talk about it, but I am looking into is Duskblood actually good or not. Currently, kind of a mixed bag.
Out. And so I don't agree with some of the decisions they're making now, but even though they're my favorite in the industry, I still don't put my full faith in them because at the end of the day, they are still a company that views you as
Put your fate in the light.
a walking wallet, that doesn't quite respect you the way that you think. And it's like when companies virtue signal about, oh, it's Pride Month, oh, it's Trans Month, oh, it's Black History Month, it's this month, it's that month. They don't actually
Soon there's gonna be two Pride Months. I hope you're ready, Amanda Bros. I'm sure you're gonna be ecstatic and happy about that one, right?
care about your identity. They just care about the fact that you are giving them money and you are supporting them. And sure, I think that there are a lot of really cool people behind this project. I've talked to Kim Tae-young before. I have discussed Evie with him before, and he seems genuine, but at the same time, everybody is capable of making bad decisions and bad moves, and this is one of them. If this person Jerome had at least come out and tried to explain himself and clarify with people.
But I mean, what the hell is with this guy's name and surname being like a Breaking Bad character?
Okay, I could respect that, even though I would definitely be keeping a hawk's eye view on his.
I mean, we're gonna see the results of this. If this is wokeness, it will be obviously very apparent very fast with how the communications are happening, what's being shown, and so on. Like there is no way that someone woke gets into a position in a company like Shift Up, and we do not see immediate changes to how things are handled. That just doesn't happen. So we're gonna see very fast what's happening here. Is this a concern or is it not? Now again, that is not bringing it up. Maybe I was wrong, but there was some talk about someone who is awoken in a communications or HR position, but they are woke, but they're posting exactly the type of pictures that we would agree with.
Socials and what he's doing. But yeah, now your history of posts like this are coming up. The sneak peek of
Oh Jesus!
Concord really got us excited.
Oh Jesus!
And he had
Oh, that is not the guy.
posted on Concord's release day. Congratulations to the team. It just feels very corporate, which I get, but at
Well, he was at the time in Sony, and Sony did buy Concord, so this is technically understandable, but still a bad look.
the same time, it is very suspicious. Now, heading on over to his post about this, here are the responses. Nice hiding your true DEI identity from your LinkedIn bio. LOL, no. You, Mr. DEI guy, will be why the House doesn't give another dollar to Shift Up starting now. This can be remedied by your termination. No thanks. You've made a massive error. This guy focuses on DEI, which is largely rejected by gamers. Shift Up is done for unless you tell me that you respect what Shift Up does with Stellar Blade and Nikkei. And he says, I've been a Shift Up fan since Destiny.
Oh shit! So he is reading this. Oof, and he is not answering questions. He's just trying to be like, I was a fan since I was not even born yet. Yeah, that is not a good look, also.
Child. I'm not attacking you or anything, but you do understand what type of content Shift Up makes, right? They make fan service for people who love that sort of stuff, and modern Sony PlayStation was the antithesis of that. I'm a Shift Up fan since Destiny Child, don't worry. And of
Ah, questionable.
course, over the years, people can change, and maybe this was a specialty that he started getting into when a lot of people were being convinced that this was the future of the world, but at the same time,
Everyone who was convinced that the future of the world is an antithesis to reality needs to have less rights than everyone else, if you understand what I'm saying.
by just removing it, it doesn't give people a lot of confidence. So yeah, I will definitely be keeping a close eye on Shift Up and the Stellar Blade sequel Blood Rain and what this individual has to say, if he does anything about this. But yeah, I completely understand why people are upset. I definitely feel pretty disappointed as well, and
True.
definitely very worried, even though I am
I mean, again, we're gonna see if this is a concern very fast. And the thing is, by the way, if one person like this gets hired, there's gonna be more. There's gonna be more. So, I mean, we could see the end of Shift Up very fast if this is actually a problem. Because, I mean, one thing is just being a woke slop the game, right? The other thing is being something that people liked and had good expectancies because they were a normal studio, and then it goes like this. I mean, people are not going to forgive this. People still had played was successful because of a very few reasons, and all of those few reasons are well kind of attributed to a lot of anti-wokeness and a lot of things like that. So if they suddenly ruin a game with woke, I mean, those sales are gonna plummet like a fucking rock. It's not. It's not gonna be good for them. They're literally gonna get just destroyed. In any case, that was very dark. 10 out of 10. Have a nice day. Bye.